Howdy folks, I'm Brian,
I'm Amber.
and here's some Reddit. But before we begin, I'm going to read a poem to you. Roses are red, violets are blue, and I'm going to read some Reddit to you. This was a scrap piece of it. There wasn't anything on it.
Yeah, that's my story.
Let's get started before this whole thing gets out of control. And before my computer overheats on me and then makes me shut it down or something. Our first story is titled, "Am I a Jerk for Telling My Coworker that if I'm not allowed to wear makeup, then he also should not be allowed to keep his beard?" English is not my first language, so excuse any mistakes. I'm a 25-year-old female and I work at a law firm. Just for context, I recently graduated, so right now I don't practice law, but I am basically the receptionist of the office, so I see every single client that comes into the building. I also like wearing makeup. Not to the point of being completely unrecognizable, but I do like to wear a full face. We recently had a meeting to discuss the dress code of the office, since some of my coworkers are having issues adapting to the in-person modernity. At the end, my boss asked if anyone else had any other concerns. My coworker, a 45-year-old male, let's call him Mario. It's me, Mario. Said something along the lines of, "I think that makeup should be banned. People like OP look a whole lot different in person without it, and it misleads the client." Yes, I'm sure your poor confused clients don't know that her eyelids aren't naturally glitter. So horrifying that she might mislead them into thinking that she naturally has black lines on her face. Yes, he has a very valid and legitimate point. Of course, I was shocked when he said that, and I could see a lot of my coworkers were too, since the comment was so unwarranted. I told him, well, if I'm not allowed to wear makeup, then you shouldn't be allowed to keep your beard given that you go from a grown man to a 12-year-old when you shave. He turned really red and tried to say something, but my boss did not let him. OP, there's one problem with this. You say that he goes from a grown man to a 12-year-old, but I think you're mistaken. I think he was a 12-year-old all along. I thought that was the end of the situation, but I found out that some of the other employees are making fun of him using the comment I made. Now I feel really bad for what I said. I told my family, and most of them agree that what I said was more hurtful than what he said. But he shouldn't have named me and tried to make an example out of me. So Reddit, am I the jerk? OP, no. You can go to sleep without a guilty conscience, at least in my book. What do you folks think? Do you think her comment was more hurtful than his comment?
Nope.
Amber says no. I'm inclined to agree with Amber. I think this is just absolutely absurd. Like, people who make the argument that makeup will deceive people, I think that they are, very mistaken. The thing is that most people don't grow up with blue, eyelids. And if you do have blue eyelids naturally, there's probably an actual problem and you should seek medical advice.
Too much colloidal silver.
Too much colloidal silver. There was a blue man. I don't know if you folks have heard about this guy, but he took colloidal silver and I think he was making some of it himself. And it actually turned him blue. So there was this guy who was naturally kind of blue. And it was a strange thing to behold. Okay, so the name is Paul Carson, and the reason why he was taking the colloidal silver is because it allegedly has some medicinal value, and there, may be some truth to that, but it's not one of those things that doctors necessarily recommend, so I don't know, it didn't actually keep him alive for that much longer. He was 62 when he passed, so I don't think he is a good measure of whether or not colloidal silver is the right choice for you. Consult your doctor for all medical advice. Your medical doctors. So, yeah, I mean, aside from all the tangents we're having here, OP's not the jerk in my book, and yeah, I think that their comment was spot on, because I would look 12 if I shaved my beard, and that's why Amber doesn't let me shave my beard.
Do you feel deceived by my makeup?
Amber wants to know if I feel deceived by her makeup, and the answer is yes, I do. I feel very deceived.
I look like 12 without my makeup.
Amber's like, I look 12 without my makeup, and yeah, I mean, I think we both look young. Not the jerk, and he just realized in front of everyone in the office that he now is a misogynist. He should be shamed, and his comment should be reported to HR if you have one, and he should be fired. Next time, don't do the personal attack. Instead, say the exact same thing that he said. Then you need to shave your beard, since you would look like a different person without it, and that might be misleading to the clients. That gets your points across, and there's no way that it can come back on you. Not the jerk. That's actually probably a pretty good point. Not the jerk, what he's really saying is, I personally don't like too much makeup, and what if a client wants to know how attractive OP really is? You know, in case they want to ask her out, or you know, in case I want to ask her out. And OP replies, thank you for the comment. The whole office was there, including HR, so they already know about the issue. As far as I know, the interaction is documented, but I do not know if they're going to take any action. Speaking of deceptions, am I the jerk for not going to my in-laws' house to celebrate my husband's birthday? Together for 4 years and married for 2, Mike is a jokester, a very active one at that. He's ready to make/not tell, but make jokes and pull silly pranks on everyone. We have a stable life and we rarely argue. However, I should mention that Mike is short. He can be very, very insecure about it because of the amounts of comments and jokes made about him by his friends and family. We were visiting his parents to celebrate his birthday. I was going to wear some new high heels I recently got, and he asked me to tone it down with my heels because we were going to meet distant relatives at the party and he didn't want us to look awkward standing next to each other. But I really wanted to wear the heels since it's been a while since I wore any, because I didn't have to walk long distances. I was outside with our 6-month-old son in my hands waiting for Mike to bring the car closer. He stopped where I am standing, telling me to get in, and then drove forward and then back in reverse and said, alright, aren't you going to change those heels? Must be exhausted from standing already. I told him to stop because I'm not changing my heels. Then he told me to get in, but before I did, he drove forward, leaving a distance, and then started laughing. He then drove back in reverse and said, it's not funny, I know, get in the car. I tried to open the door, and suddenly he stepped on the gas and drove forward and laughed. He did it a couple more times, and then after seeing my face through the rear mirror, he drove in reverse back to where I was standing and said, alright, I've had enough fun tonight, get in. I tried to get in, but he drove further in reverse and laughed again. I said, F it, enough is enough, and I literally head back inside the house with my son and shut the door and close it. Mike followed in and said we had to go because we're getting late. Oh yeah, now it's a problem that it's getting late. I told him that he was acting unbelievably mean by repeatedly stressing me out and playing with me and my son like that. He told me he's sorry a couple times, but said I won't be going to celebrate his birthday after he did that. We got into an argument and he left after calling me selfish for my stance. He ended up going alone and I stayed home with our son. He came back looking upset and quiet and then stayed in our son's room. His mom didn't like that I skipped his 30th birthday over a small, harmless prank. She called saying that everyone was asking about me and that I made Mike sad on his happy day. I explained what he did and how I'm tired of this. She reminded me that it's his birthday and he was just messing with me, so I should loosen up. We argued back and forth and she told me to grow up and not be mad over every little thing, and that I should have just celebrated this milestone with him. OP, this was not a prank. This was mean-spirited. This wasn't a joke. It wasn't funny. And the only person who thought it was funny, and I don't even know if your husband thought it was funny, was your husband. He did this because he was trying to bully you into changing your footwear. When you refuse to play his game, then he throws a pout and is like, "Oh, you're trying to ruin my special day." Well, who ruined his special day? He ruined his special day. He shouldn't have acted like this, and that's just really what this boils down to. And another thing is, a car isn't a toy. And he could have ended up hurting someone. What happens if he had run over your foot or something? And in his process of trying to play a prank. You know, I think that the thing is that he is acting incredibly immature here. He's acting very spiteful and selfish, and he's pinning this all on you. And why his mom is standing up for him here is beyond me. It sounds like you explained the situation to her, but she still is like, "Oh, well, you need to learn how to take a prank." Well, OP, I don't think that you need to, and I don't think you need to stand for this kind of behavior on your husband's part. And I think you should consider this a pretty big red flag, in my opinion. So yeah, anyhow, take care and good luck. That's not a prank, that's a power play. He felt small in more than one way about the heels. This was his way of retaking control of the situation and putting you and the child you have together at risk, not the jerk. Alright, our last letter is titled, "Am I a jerk for not wanting to change my nephew's diaper?" I'm a child-free woman, but I absolutely love and adore my little nephew. But I really can't deal with bodily fluids. I've never had to babysit him for long periods of time alone, nor would I volunteer to do so for this reason. So it's never completely fallen on me to have to take care of his physical health. Whenever the family gets together and my sister needs help with her kid, a lot of people volunteer to change him. Then everyone turns their heads towards me for my turn to change him, and I always turn it down. I say I'm an aunt, not a saint. And then I get the stink eye from everyone as if I'm a bad aunt. But I need to set my boundaries for what I'm comfortable for, and even if this is a thing vital to someone else's health. Am I a jerk? Am I a bad aunt? Alright, OP, I think that this is a boundary that you've set, and you've never set up an expectation that you were willing to do this, and I think that everyone pushing you to do this, I think, is unfair. I think that you are perfectly entitled not to have to take care of your sister's child in this way. So yeah, I don't think you're the jerk. What do you folks think?
Not the jerk.
Amber says not the jerk. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk if you were babysitting the kid, then you would be the jerk if you needed to change the diaper, but in a public setting, it's not one's responsibility but the parents'. That's a reasonable boundary to set, and they need to respect it. And if I'm the parent, I'd be mortified if someone started giving someone a guilt trip about not changing my baby's diaper. I'd absolutely do it myself unless someone volunteered. And even then, I'd only let them do it if I were busy doing something else. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. If you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.